Now we're going to take a look into some very specific pricing around which workloads get billed in what ways for Acronis Cyber Backup Cloud. We mentioned a minute ago that we have both per gigabyte pricing and we have per device pricing. And when it gets down to per device pricing, there's a number of different models based on the kinds of devices that they are. So first we'll start with the per gigabyte model. Very simple to understand. You get charged for all of the amount of data that your customer backs up to our cloud, plus you get charged for the amount of local backup they have at a far reduced rate. So we support the idea that your customer should have at least 2 copies of their data backed up, one on-premise, one in the cloud. This allows you to do it. And there's no limit to the number of protected workloads that a customer can have on the per gigabyte model. Makes it very easy for you to sell. You just charge your customer for the number of gigabytes they have, and it's a very simple model. But you do have to pay for that local backup. Now, when we go over to the per workload model, we're going to see that we have our protected workloads, which there's a number of different ones, starting with servers, going over to workstations. We have obviously virtual machines as well, and then a number of different cloud services, including Office 365, Microsoft Teams, G Suite, and so forth. Plus, we're going to add to that the amount of backup that they have, the total storage space that they have onto the Acronis cloud as well. And so that is how those products are licensed. Now, very specifically for each of those cloud services, there is specific licensing for each one of those cloud services. So we'll start with Office 365 or Microsoft 365. They've changed the name. And again, we have 2 models, a per gigabyte and per seat model. Per gigabyte, very easy to understand, no limits to the number of seats that they have. On the per seat model, we call it per seat because that customer could have multiple devices and that customer has multiple services. They're going to have Exchange, SharePoint, and OneDrive. Each of those per seats have free unlimited amounts of local storage. So for those customers who do want to back up their Exchange data locally, they can do that unlimited. And for those people who are putting stuff into the cloud, it's free unlimited service provider cloud storage. So makes it much cleaner for you. You know what your costs are. You can pass on the margins directly to your customers. There are a couple of things that we want you to know. What ones can be backed up? It's everything that you have for Microsoft 365, including Exchange Online, OneDrive, and SharePoint. What is a seat? A seat refers to either a user, a shared mailbox, or a public folder. So even one user might take up multiple seats for that. And how many seats do I need to back up SharePoint Online by itself? Currently, all you need is 1 seat. So let's take a look at Microsoft Teams backup licensing. It's very similar to the Microsoft 365. Not a lot of changes here. Your per cost per gigabyte is the same. Your same setup for Microsoft Teams. Of course, now your cost, though, is per team, not per end user. But again, on the per team model, you're going to get unlimited storage with that. G Suite licensing, very similar again. We're going to have, again, per gigabyte models that include the number of gigabytes, no limits on the number of seats. And then on the G Suite, it's again going to be on a per seat model, just like Microsoft 365, again, with free unlimited storage for all of the different services they use with G Suite Backup.